Hey everyone, in this world full of advertising and marketing, we often forget that the need of our generation is not much, but we want a lot of things. So there's this want which is insatiable, and there's this need which is actually very, very low. So before buying anything, just compare yourself ki what group are you in? Are you the ones who just act on what they want, or are you the ones who actually buy what you need? So I highly suggest to you, before buying anything, calculate what you need and buy only what you need to. Okay, with that being said, let's dive on. Hello everyone, my name is Anuj. I'm a second year MBBS student at GMC Nagpur, and thank you so much for clicking on this video. So today I'm going to be discussing about the iPad versus the laptop for a student, and more emphasis on the iPad, because most of you students will have all the needs of the student fulfilled by the iPad itself. So let us dive into the topic. Basically, whenever you enter any institution, may it a school or a college, most of the students that you see over there are only just there for academic purposes that involve note taking, writing, learning, typing stuff, and then making some creative projects like PPTs. The small percentage of students which are going to be present in that particular institution will be actually involved in extracurricular activities. What does that mean? That may be you may be a guitarist or a pianist, and so you will need a particular audio editing software which is beneficial for you. Next thing, you might be a video editor like me, or you may also be a student teacher which is also teaching topics as a part-time thing. Depending upon which class do you fit in, the extracurricular class or the normal person class, your needs also vary. So only buy the things which you need and don't buy the things which you don't need. So I would suggest that the people who are much more involved in the extracurricular thing, just buy the things which are much more powerful, such as laptops, which will be able to deliver you with ease creation of content and taking of classes and all the other activities that you can possibly imagine. And the other people who are normal students, you can just go over the iPad, because iPad is a wonderful tool for light usage, and it will also do some mild heavy work. So yeah, with that being said, I'm not the best person to recommend you a laptop, so I won't. However, after using the iPad for over the year now, I know all its pros and cons and how everything has to be, and I've recommended it to a few of my friends. And so here is the iPad buying guide. Okay, so what do you need an iPad for? But the most important answer is the stylus which the iPad provides, also, and the real estate of the screen. What these two things will be used for: first of all, the bigger screen will actually serve like a textbook, so you can take as many notes as you want. And second of all, since the screen is bigger and the battery life is excellent, you are able to read a lot of books on the iPad itself without being actually able to physically buy it. So these are the advantages. And also there are certain apps which are just made for the iPad and the Android, so they won't work particularly well in laptops. So these are the major selling points over here. Coming to the buying guide, basically I'll just talk about the 3 iPads which are out there, which are the most popular ones. So first of them is the normal iPad, which is the 7th generation iPad, which is 10.3 inches I think. The second one is called as iPad Air, and the last one is called as iPad Pro. Here I'm going to eliminate the second option, that is iPad Air, and let me tell you just why. Because the iPad Air, I think, is not the best iPad, and it is not the lowest iPad. It is somewhere in between, and you either buy the best one or you buy the low one. There's no in between for me. So I'm eliminating the iPad Air right over here, because if you really want performance, then why are you stopping at iPad Air? Just go at iPad Pro. And if you are a mild user, a light user, like most students are, just go with the normal one and don't spend the extra like 30-40,000 just for just upgrading the little software a little bit and the screen a little bit. So it won't matter much. So eliminating the iPad Air right here, only 2 iPads remain now, the iPad Pro. And in the iPad Pro there are 2 variants, that is the 11 inch and the 12.9 inches, and the normal iPad, that is the 7th gen iPad, which I use, and it is wonderful. So let us talk about this thing, which one should you buy. Now see, the iPad Pro is designed in such a way that it will maximize everything. So it will maximize your productivity, and it will be most optimum for heavy users. So for students who are particularly in medical field or related to medical field, you don't really need an iPad Pro here, because I consider myself a heavy user of iPad, and my normal iPad does all the things smoothly. There is not even once that it was stuck doing something or it did not perform as I expected it to do. So that's the selling point over here. The iPad Pro is for people who are in different fields, for example graphics and visual effects and Photoshop and all the other things like animation. So in iPad Pro, the softwares will be much more integrated and work much more seamlessly. So that is the one which you should go if you are a very professional person and if you want like the ultimate productivity, which most of us don't want. And if you were to use a normal iPad and an iPad Pro, you wouldn't even be able to tell the difference if you were a normal student, which 99% of the people are. In the normal iPad, basically, always remember you are getting the iPad for the stylus as well as the real estate. So they always buy stylus, that is the first generation Apple Pencil. And now talking about the different versions which are there. So basically there are 2 or 3 versions out there. The most important one is that whenever you are buying any device, just go with the one which has a higher storage. For example, 128 GB would be absolutely fine. I've been using the iPad for about more than a year now, and still my iPad has not even filled halfway. Well, while I have a lot of books, I still have a lot of screen recordings, etc. But still the iPad has not been filled, and that way you can avoid all the hassle to transfer the data from here to there. So go with the 128 GB version, not the 32 GB version. Even though it costs a little bit extra, it will be very fruitful in the long time. So again, there are 2 varieties in the iPad that you buy. One is the cellular variety, the next is the Wi-Fi only variety. So for most of us students, we have our mobile phones with us all the time, and in most of the places in India there is good coverage of mobile service. So, and also this is the Jio era. So what I would suggest is that instead of going for the cellular version of the iPad, which will require an additional SIM and some additional cost, you save all that money and save it, and instead go for the Wi-Fi version. So what this will do is that whenever you want to access the internet through your iPad, you can just toggle on your mobile data and then the hotspot and connect these two so that you get internet access instantaneously in your normal iPad. So that basically solves the entire process. So I would recommend for any student who is a normal student, does not require much of work, and even though if you require a little bit of video editing, PPT making, or like audio editing, all of these things can be done on the iPad with free softwares that are available as well as some paid softwares. So since you are going to buy an iPad, the most suggested one by me is go for the 7th generation one, which is currently available now. It was launched this year. So a couple of my friends have those 7th generation iPad. Along with it, take the Apple Pencil. So I think the total cost for that in India at this point will go around 45,000 or 44,000, something like that. So that would be the most appropriate thing for you. Another thing is that if you already own a laptop, which is good, and so you don't want to go ahead with the iPad, then what to do for note taking? Because in a country like India, where typing is still obsolete in colleges and we still use paper notebooks and paper books for taking all our notes, a transition to laptop note taking will happen, but it will be delayed. So for writing on the laptop, just go and buy a graphic tablet. So graphic tablets come anywhere from around 6,000 to 10,000, whichever one you feel is good, just buy them. So the company which I am using the tablet from is Wacom. So what the graphic tablet enables you to do is that when you plug it in with a normal USB and you write it out on the graphic tablet, all that writing appears on the screen. So that is another alternative. Many tablets are coming on the market, but just remember that my mom always tells me that whenever you're buying anything, don't settle for the inferior quality one. Just go with the superior quality one so that you won't regret it 1 year or 2 years later. Because now if you buy some other company tablet which is not as famous as Apple, and you will regret it a few years later if it does not work as properly. And I'm not saying that only Apple makes good tablets. There are many companies still out there, but the best ones are still made by Apple. So with that being said, Apple did not sponsor this video. Apple does not sponsor any videos. Final conclusion, the people who are creators, I suggest you go with the laptop. Along with it, take the graphic tablet. And people who are not creators and do mild creation works, just go with the iPad. And the iPad I suggested is the 7th generation one with the 1st generation Apple Pencil. Before buying anything, again consider what are your needs, and before buying, just write out your needs on a piece of paper and just see are those needs really needed to be fulfilled by the iPad, or will they suffice if you don't have it. For example, note taking, you can still do it in the paper book. I still sometimes write on paper even though I have an iPad. Video editing, you have your laptop. If you have your PC, then don't need to buy it. So write all of your needs down and only buy buy if you need one. And if you are thinking about buying an iPad, kindly use the first link in the description so that I'll get a small commission from Amazon at no extra cost to you. And anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. If I have cleared your doubts, if I have motivated you to certain things, and if I made you buy an iPad, please hit that thumbs up button. It really means a lot to me. And if you haven't already, please follow me on Instagram, because in there you will see that sometimes I buy the things that I don't really need. And so yeah, and of course subscribe to the channel if you like this video, and check out some of my other ones too. You can find it up there. And yeah, that being said, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay happy. Until next time, this is Anuj Pachhel. I'll see you soon.